Once upon a time, in ancient China, a wise philosopher named Lao Tzu roamed the land. He was captivated by the forces of nature, the ebb and flow of life, and the intricate balance that held everything together. He noticed how life, human or otherwise, was always under the influence of external elements, just as a leaf is carried by the wind or a river by the pull of the moon. Lao Tzu often spoke to those who would listen, sharing that he found the essence of truth and freedom in a simple idea: simplicity. To him, simplifying one's thoughts and actions was like holding a mirror to nature itself. He fervently encouraged his followers to observe the world around them closely. Study the streams, the plants, and the cycles of the moon, he'd say. They all follow natural laws. If you understand these laws, you'll understand life itself. Don't seek a manual for life, he advised his disciples. You are your own best guide. Your heart knows the path to goodness, serenity, and respect. He insisted that moral and ethical behaviour shouldn't be dictated by external laws, but should flow naturally from an inner sense of right and wrong. When you listen to your own conscience, you are in tune with the universe, Lao Tzu would say, his eyes twinkling like stars in a moonlit sky. As the years passed, Lao Tzu's influence began to take form in a philosophy that people would later call Taoism. Interestingly, despite his early reluctance to solidify his teachings in writing, Lao Tzu felt a growing sense that his insights needed a more permanent home. Around 500 BCE, he composed a remarkable text, the Tao Te Ching. In this book, he put down the essence of his understanding of the Tao, or the Way, a fundamental force that weaves through the fabric of the universe. The Tao Te Ching became a guide for those seeking harmony and balance in life. According to this newfound philosophy, all creatures, humans and animals alike, should strive to align themselves with the Tao. This wasn't about adhering to strict laws or dogmas. It was about a natural alignment, as spontaneous as a tree bending in the wind or a river flowing to the sea. One of the main ideas of Taoism is the belief in balancing forces, or yin and yang. Yin and yang were seen as complementary forces, forever dancing in a celestial ballet. Light could not exist without darkness. Warmth had no meaning without cold. And action was meaningless without moments of stillness. This wasn't just philosophical musing. For the Taoists, it became a way of viewing the world around them and their place in it. People often misunderstand yin and yang as opposing forces, one disciple remarked, remembering Lao Tzu's wisdom. But it's not about opposition, it's about harmony. Just like the strings on a lute need to be neither too loose nor too tight. To produce beautiful music, yin and yang need to be in balance for the universe to flow as it should. As time unfolded, more people joined this philosophical path, captivated by its profound yet accessible wisdom. They realized that nothing exists in isolation. Everything is connected, and the full meaning of any one thing can only be grasped when seen in relation to its opposite. In this simple yet transformative understanding, they found a richness and depth that made their lives resonate in harmony with the entire universe. Another fascinating aspect of Taoism was its perspective on mortality, or rather immortality. Lao Tzu taught that death was not an end, but a transformation. When the body ceases to be, he would say, the spirit merges back into the Tao, just as a droplet of water returns to the ocean from whence it came. Taoist ethics. In the community that embraced Taoism, a certain tranquility hung in the air, much like the mist that settles over a mountain range. Those who followed the teachings of Lao Tzu were often seen as people of calm demeanour and detached outlook. Yet there was nothing cold or indifferent about them. It was as if they had unlocked a secret to living that allowed them to move gracefully through the world, like leaves floating on a gentle stream. "You must become like water," one elder would say, echoing the words of Lao Tzu. Water doesn't rush to make things happen. It waits for the natural order to unfold, and then it flows where it's needed. The essence of Taoism wasn't about performing good deeds per se, but rather about becoming a person whose very existence was a beacon of goodness. For Taoists, ethics and spirituality were two sides of the same coin, both rooted in the core principles of living in harmony with all things and beings. When faced with life's many decisions, large or small, a Taoist would pause and reflect on how each choice fit within the broader context of the Tao. What does the natural order of things suggest here, they would ask. No action was taken hastily or in pursuit of personal desires. Instead, they waited for the situation to reveal the action that was truly necessary. For instance, a Taoist farmer didn't arbitrarily decide to till the soil or harvest the crops. He observed the patterns of the weather, the cycle of the seasons, and the readiness of the earth. Action stemmed not from impulsive need, but from a deep understanding of what was required by the natural world. Many found this way of life to be remarkably freeing. Gone were the anxieties of trying to force the world to fit one's own whims or desires. Gone too were the moral quandaries over what was right or wrong in a conventional sense. Instead, Taoists found their ethical and spiritual compass in the natural flow of the universe itself. In this, they discovered a serene way of living, one that danced with the rhythms of the world rather than trying to control them. This sense of non-action, or Wu Wei, became the cornerstone of their existence, a quiet testament to a life lived in unison with the Tao. And so, as the days turned into years and years into lifetimes, the philosophy of Taoism blossomed like a timeless flower, its petals unfolding in the hearts of those who knew how to listen to the wisdom of the world.